Courageous Warrior, Minsitthar. Passive, Mark of the King. Minsithar's basic attacks and skills apply a stack of Mark of the King on enemies. When a target is at full stacks, Minsithar's next attack on them will detonate the marks, dealing damage and stunning the target while also restoring HP to Minsitthar. This effect has a cooldown for each target. First skill, Spear of Glory. Minsitthar thrusts his spear in the target direction and stuns enemies hit by the end of the spear. Minsitthar then pulls the spear back, dealing damage to enemies in its way and pulling them to Minsitthar. Second skill, Shield Assault. Minsitthar deals damage to enemies in a rectangular area and slows them. Meanwhile, he enters Phalanx state, reducing damage taken from the front and enhancing his basic attacks to swiftly strike a rectangular area in front of him. Ultimate, King's Calling. Minsitthar leaps forward and calls 4 royal guards to form a field around him. The royal guards cannot move but will attack enemies in the field. Enemies in the field will be slowed and have their mobility skills disabled. In the laning phase, Minsitthar should use his first skill to pull the enemy to him and slow them with his second skill before unleashing his enhanced basic attacks. In teamfights, Minsitthar should use his first skill to pull in as many enemies as possible, before using his ultimate to restrict their movement, and then his second skill and enhanced basic attacks to deal AoE damage.
Double kill.
Minsitthar can roam or take the EXP lane depending on the team comp. Minsithar's skills provide a lot of utility and stuns to support his team. Minsitthar can take the EXP lane to get an early lead and uses excellent sustained damage to become the core of the team. Upgrade Minsithar's second skill at level 1 and continue to prioritize upgrading it to increase the damage reduction and reduce its cooldown. Minsithar's first skill stuns enemies at the end of the attack, so use the aiming indicator to line up enemies to ensure that they get pulled in. Minsithar's passive effect stuns enemies after they are at full stacks. Use his basic attacks or the royal guards from his ultimate to build stacks and unleash his enhanced basic attack when enemies are stunned to get in more damage. Demon Hunter's Sword is Minsithar's core piece of equipment because it synergizes with his second skill's enhanced basic attacks and provides lifesteal and attack speed. In the mid-game, build Corrosion Scythe for the stacking attack speed buff to make Minsithar's enhanced basic attacks even deadlier. We recommend the Flicker battle spell for Minsitthar to use his ultimate to cover a large distance and quickly lock down the enemy's core hero. Minsitthar can also take Petrify to work with his passive stun effect to really shut down an enemy and to give his second skill more time to deal damage. Minsitthar counters heroes that rely on mobility skills since his ultimate's unique effect disables their use. Minsitthar can instantly negate the advantages of heroes like Lancelot, Benedetta, and Arlott. Minsitthar is countered by heroes with high movement speed such as Zilong and Aulus, who can easily dodge his first skill and run out of his ultimate with their speed. Minsitthar works best with high damage marksmen such as Melissa and Hanabi because he can create more opportunities for them to deal damage.
Triple kill. Legendary.
In the early game, Minsitthar should use his first skill to pull the enemy to him, then use his second skill to unleash a barrage of enhanced basic attacks. In mid to late game teamfights, Minsitthar should target key enemies with his ultimate and use his second skill to deal significant AoE damage against the enemy team.